The feudal system, hierarchy, land, loyalty, and lasting influence. The feudal system, a socio-political structure that dominated medieval Europe, is our focus. It shaped the continent for centuries. Understanding it is crucial for grasping the trajectory of Western civilization. At its core, feudalism revolved around a distinct hierarchy, land ownership, and a complex web of reciprocal obligations. These elements intertwined to create a unique social order. This order defined relationships between individuals and institutions. At the apex of the feudal pyramid stood the monarch. The king or queen was considered the ultimate owner of all land within the realm. Their power, though theoretically absolute, was often challenged in practice. Below the monarch were the nobles. These powerful individuals were granted large tracts of land, known as fiefs, in exchange for their service and loyalty to the crown. They formed the ruling class, wielding considerable influence. Nobles, in turn, could grant portions of their land to vassals. These sub-grantees owed similar obligations to their immediate lords. This created a layered system of allegiance and responsibility. At the base of the pyramid were the peasants. They were bound to the land and worked for the lord in exchange for protection. Their labor sustained the entire feudal structure. This pyramid structure clearly illustrates the levels of the feudal hierarchy. From the monarch at the top to the peasants at the bottom, each level had specific roles and responsibilities. This system defined medieval society. Land was the cornerstone of the feudal system. Ownership determined wealth, status, and influence. Control over land meant control over resources and people. Land provided the resources necessary to raise armies, build castles, and exert political power. It was the foundation upon which the entire system rested. Without land, there was no power. The feudal system was inherently decentralized. Local lords held significant autonomy within their own territories. This often led to challenges to the monarch's authority. These local lords, with their control over land and resources, could often challenge the monarch's authority. This constant tension between centralized and decentralized power was a defining characteristic of feudalism. The king was not always in control. Loyalty served as the glue that held the feudal system together. It was the binding force that connected individuals across different social strata. Without loyalty, the system would collapse. The fealty oath was a solemn promise of military service, counsel, and financial support. Vassals swore this oath to their lords, solidifying their commitment. It was a sacred bond. Reciprocal obligation was crucial for maintaining order and security. Lords were expected to protect their vassals, while vassals were expected to serve their lords. This balance was essential. The lord's role was to provide protection and justice to those who lived on his land. He was responsible for defending them from external threats and resolving disputes within the community. This was a heavy burden. The vassal's role was to provide military service, financial support, and counsel to his lord. He was expected to be a loyal and dependable servant. His honor depended on it. However, the system was susceptible to conflicts and power struggles. The potential for exploitation and abuse was ever present. This inherent instability contributed to its eventual decline. The concept of sovereignty, the supreme authority within a territory, can be traced back to the monarchical power struggles of the feudal era. Kings sought to consolidate their control. This laid the groundwork for modern states. The need for centralized control arose from the fragmentation inherent in the feudal system. Monarchs sought to overcome the power of local lords. They aimed to create a more unified and stable realm. Efficient administration became essential for managing larger territories and collecting taxes. Bureaucracies developed to handle the increasing complexity of governance. This was a crucial step in state building. The need for a standing army, loyal to the crown, became apparent. This allowed monarchs to project power and maintain order within their realms. It also reduced reliance on feudal levies. Feudalism, despite its limitations, laid the groundwork for the modern nation-state. The concepts of centralized authority, efficient administration, and standing armies all have roots in this era. It was a time of great change. The landed aristocracy, descendants of feudal lords, often retained significant wealth and influence in subsequent centuries. Their privileged status was a legacy of the feudal system. This continues to shape societies today. The concept of inherited privilege, where status and wealth are passed down through generations, is deeply rooted in feudalism. This system perpetuated social inequalities. It created lasting divisions within society. Feudalism shaped social dynamics in many societies. Its legacy can still be seen in patterns of social stratification and inequality. The echoes of the past are still audible. The legacy of hierarchy, a defining feature of feudalism, continues to resonate in modern societies. While the specific structures have changed, the concept of social stratification remains. This is a complex issue. The legacy of land-based power, though less direct, can still be seen in patterns of wealth distribution and access to resources. Land remains a valuable asset. Its control often translates into power. Enduring class divisions, a consequence of feudalism's hierarchical structure, continue to shape social and economic realities in many parts of the world. These divisions are a source of tension and inequality. While the specific structures of feudalism are long gone, its influence remains. The concepts of hierarchy, land-based power, and class divisions continue to resonate in the modern world. Understanding this legacy is crucial. In summary, the feudal system, with its complex web of relationships and obligations, had a lasting impact on modern society. Its influence can be seen in our political systems, social structures, and economic inequalities. It is a vital part of our history.